eggplants. We all love them. Why not continue the party next year? I'll show you exactly how to save eggplant seeds. Hello gardeners, this is Jeremy Starke here from Green Thumb Garden, here to give you some tips, tutorials, reviews for all your gardening needs. In today's video, we're going to go over a very simple way on how to save your seeds from your eggplant. Eggplant is one of those vegetables, I love it. I make a lot of eggplant parmesan, I make a lot of baba ganoush, or some other Italian meals that I like to have with eggplant. Eggplant's also great for putting in your stir fries. There's so many other uses for it depending on which type of eggplants that you do have. The tips I'm going to show you here is basically what you need to do to save your eggplant seeds for next year. It's very simple. Before we get started though, if you could please give us a green thumbs up. Let us know that this video is helpful for you. Also, if you could, please hit that subscribe button down below. Just hit the bell when you get notified of any new videos that we do have. Also, we do have a website called gardenerthumb.com where you can find more tips, more tutorials, and more hacks to help you in your garden. Now that we get that out of the way, let's get right into it. Hey guys, I just wanted to show you when to select the eggplant for when it's ideal to pick it, because you want to make sure that the eggplant is fully matured. So what I do is I have this plant, I let this plant kind of go. That's why it's a little droopy, because I was just going to pick everything off, and I wanted one of them to at least grow to really full mature size. So this particular plant is a Bangladesh eggplant. They really don't get as well. They do get as big if you let them, but you want to pick them if you're going to eat them. Like this is ideal to pick to eat. So as you can see, this one has green, it's got a little bit of purple. I'm going to pick this one off so that we can use that to eat. But this one I let go as much as I can, and I'm going to basically take this particular one off. So you want to make sure that it's fully matured, and what I like to do is, one tip that I have for any kind of seed is try to keep one on whatever plant you're going to do, and just use that one as basically your seed. So you pick all the other ones except for the one that you want to keep on there. I try to do it at the beginning of the season just in case you have a little failure. So it's something that I've always done. It seems to work well. So what I'll do is I'm just going to go pick this guy right off here. So I'm going to cut this one off. And then I'm going to show you inside exactly what I do to save these seeds. One thing I wanted to show you is just the difference between a eggplant that is fully mature and one that is not. Now this is a Bangladesh eggplant. These are the longer skinny ones. You might some of the other ones that you might see in the supermarket are Black Beauty ones, and they're really round and like a really dark, very dark purple. One of the things that I would recommend is that you know what the plants are going to look like, as they grow. So you can always look up online, because they're going to be different for each variety. Some of them have different colors. For the most part, most of them are kind of a green, purple. There's maybe slight hue pink color ones, there's white ones, but the main ones that you'll see are purple, and they might also be green and yellow. So as you can see, the more mature one is this one is quite yellow, and that's the one that you want to look for. So what I always do is on one of my plants, as I kind of just pick that one as it's going to be the one that I'm going to let it grow out, because you can still eat this, but sometimes you pick them a little bit when they're young, and you can still eat them when they're young. And the taste kind of does change a little bit, depends on what variety it is. But the other thing I wanted to point out too is you want to make sure that you are you're only selecting an open pollinated or an heirloom variety of eggplant. The reason is for that is that you want to grow the same exact plant each year. It has to come from an open pollinated or an heirloom variety of eggplant. The reason is that the hybrid varieties of eggplants or any other type of plants, they are cross-pollinated with other varieties of eggplants for certain characteristics of the plant, whether it be color, taste, More often in agricultural things that you get in your supermarket, it's more for transportation. They're able to survive, being transported over long areas and periods. So it's not always the taste when you get the stuff in the supermarket. The best way that you want to do for the eggplant is, after you select the most mature variety of it, what I like to do is you can still use the eggplant, but you're going to have to butcher it up a little bit. So maybe once you're done with the eggplant, you can make some baba ganoush if you've never had that before. I love saying that name. But you can still use the eggplant. Some of the stuff you'll see when I chop this open, you're not really going to be able to use it for certain dishes, but for the most part, you can still use it. All right, so I always slice off the top and the bottom right here. So, I just kind of get right into it. I don't really get too technical in it. Now, when you're slicing it down the middle, you're gonna lose some of the seed. You might lose a couple of seeds, but for the most part, I just find that I still can able to get most of the seeds off of here. So what I usually do is I just take my knife and I scrape all of the seeds off, just like so. And the good thing about eggplant is that it does have quite a bit of seeds in here for some of the varieties. Not all of them don't. So if you find that this is really all you're gonna need for the next couple of years, then maybe you only need to do half of it, and the other half you can just cook with it so you don't ruin it. But I take all the seeds off because I like to save as many as I can, and possibly also exchange them with other seed savers. So if you've never done that before, it's definitely a cool thing to do with just saving your seeds. Like this one right here, I mean, I got probably like off one plant, you probably get like 200, 300 seeds for this variety. So you could actually list these seeds up and then actually exchange them with other people, other farmers, other growers, gardeners. I think you can only do it in the United States. I think there's certain laws, like if you're exchanging seeds outside of the United States, some agricultural thing, out there. But it is really cool. I mean, look at how many seeds that I've gotten just from this particular variety of eggplant. And that's just half of this. And this is not even all of the seeds that I've had. Now, I've grown Black Beauty. I've saved seeds from this type of one. I think I can't remember if I did a white one, like a Bianca one, an Italian Bianca one. But I do know that all the eggplant that I've had and eaten, there's always a lot of seeds in it, because you can eat these seeds as well when they're a little bit younger. I like them. But what I do is it's very wet in here, inside here, so we're going to scrape out this one too. So what I do is I try to separate all of them once I get them all scraped out. So let's do that first, and I'll speed this up so you don't have to see the entire process here. All right, so I have most of the seeds out of here. As you can see, there's a lot of seeds in here. I'm not going to plant this many seeds in between the time, because sometimes I don't always plant my the same eggplants every year, but at least I have the option. And now these seeds, I'll post. I think they last about 3 to 4 years. I might be a little bit when you save these for most saving methods, but I'll put that in the show notes below is how long they will last. So I'm actually what I'm doing is I'm just going to separate all the little gunk out of it as much as I can, and then the next step that I do is I put this into a colander, and I rinse off all the seeds, and I try to separate all this stuff out. What you can do is the other thing is you can put it in water, adding fresh water in there. So I'll show you that step right here, right now, just so you can see it. All right, so what I did for this is I put pretty much the whole seed mass and all of the junk in a bowl, and what I kept doing is all the innards and all the bad seeds, they're actually going to float to the top of of the bunch. So what I did was I kept pouring out some of the top junk of the, I call it junk, but the top innards of the eggplant, and then I just kept filling it up with water again, and I would let it settle down, because all the good seeds are actually gonna fall to the bottom of this of the container in the water, and anything that's floating up top is what you don't want. Now some of the innards is actually going to be a little bit more on top of that, but as you can see, it separates out kind of in a layer. So all the good seeds are at the bottom, and then all the stuff that I'm going to go out there. So what I'll do is I'm actually going to do this again, and I'll show you what it looks like when I'm done with it. All right, so as you can see, that most of the junk is pretty much gone. So all I did was I continually added water. I would let it settle down just for about, maybe 10 seconds or so. All the seeds, the good seeds, are actually going to fall towards the bottom, and then I just kept pouring out all the stuff that was kind of on top of it, and then I would add more water, and I would repeat the process. I probably did this maybe I don't know, maybe like 5 or 6 times before I kind of got down to what is mostly seed. Now there's going to be a little bit of stuff still in here. So at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to strain this out in a strainer, and then I'm going to put this on a coffee filter, and I want these to dry for several days before I would actually save these. So let me show you what that looks like after I do that. Okay, so what I've done is I've just put the all of the seeds through a strainer, and just kind of rinsed them off a little bit as well, and then I just plopped them on a paper towel. I actually would recommend, if you have a coffee filter, to use that, because they tend not to stick to this. But as it may, I ran out of coffee filters today, so I gotta go to the supermarket to get some more. But these will just, what you want to do is, I like to just try to separate them out as much as possible, and you can, go do this every day, because these take a little bit to dry, because they're going to be very wet. They've been inside this, inside the eggplant, and then you're obviously rinsing them off. So what I would do is, some of the other supplies that you'll need is, I like to use these little coin envelopes. These are great. You can find them on Amazon. I'll post a link in the show notes. You can buy a huge box of them, and you pretty much have a pretty good supply of these little envelopes for very cheap. But they're great. You can write, I always suggest to write the name of the variety that you're doing on here, because you might have more than one eggplant or tomato or whatever else you're saving for the seeds, and you want to make sure that you're able to distinguish it. So on this one, I just put the name of the eggplant, and then I also put the year of it, because I might not use this next year, so at least I know how fresh they are. So these you want to leave out, and you want these to dry. One of the things about having seeds is you don't want to have any moisture in the seeds, because that will spoil the seeds. So you want to make sure these are very dry. Usually about, I would say, anywhere from 5 to 7 days. You can check on it each day. They basically you want them to be fairly dry. You don't want them to be brittle, so I wouldn't leave them outside where they'll get too brittle. But you want them to to have just a very slight amount of moisture in there. So usually 7 days is probably the least amount of time that you need. If you forget about them, whatever, it's fine too, if you leave them indoors. And then once these have dried, you can store them away. For storage recommendations, I always recommend to have them in a cool spot. Usually a basement is the best place for it. That's generally a good place to have saving seeds, and away from light as well. So moisture and light is stuff that you don't want to have with the seeds. So hopefully you found this video helpful for you. If you could, please give us a green thumbs up. Let us know that we're making great videos for you. Also, if you could, hit that subscribe button down below. Hit the bell so you get notified of any new videos. And I didn't mention, I do have I'm going to have a series about saving seeds, and there's going to be just lots of different vegetables and fruits, and I kind of take you through each one. But I'll post, if I haven't already done that, I'll post it right, a little card up above, so you can take a look at that if you want to save any other. Hopefully that's helped you, and I'll see you in the next video.